experience on creating and publishing audiobooks. So she's going to talk about kind of the good, the bad, and the ugly, or maybe the bad and the ugly, or what to kind of look for in when you're trying to make your book into an audiobook and get that published.
Okay. I got an email one day about, that you could do an audiobook through a platform called Findaway Voices. And they do have an option where you split royalties with the narrator, but you have to pay the narrator.
Mm-hmm.
I did Maven Fairy Godmother, which is, I don't know, around 100,000 words, 98, something like that. Cost me $2,200 for the share the royalties version. I did pick out a fairly popular narrator because she was able to do a upstate, nearly Appalachian Southern accent. I like what she did very much. It took a number of months. I think I had to wait from March to August for her to even get to my book, which, she's a good narrator. She's busy, She narrated the book. I downloaded the files. I listened to it and approved them. And they were on the site. And at some point, I must have uploaded them because, well, I'll tell you about that later. But at any rate, they were published. And about 6 weeks later, they showed up on Kobo, which is available through Walmart, surprisingly enough,
mm-hmm.
and Audible. So Maven Fairy Godmother is available on Audible.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't show up on Spotify, which Spotify owns Findaway Voices. So I was like, okay, cool. And I thought, well, maybe it just takes longer. And I finally wrote to them in January. We're talking about the book was published in the end of September.
Mm-hmm.
It showed up in Audible sometime in October. And then it never showed up anywhere else. And it's supposed to be, they claim they've got about 20 places that they distribute it.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I finally wrote to them and said, look, my book's not showing up on Spotify. How come? Because, you're associated with Spotify.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
They wrote back and said, well, there were some upload problems back in October. This is January.
Ow.
And my thought was, and you didn't tell me in October that there were upload problems when I downloaded the files from you. So I went back to the ones I had downloaded. I listened to them. They seemed to be okay with me. So I uploaded them again and still not showing up. It's only been about 2 weeks now. So I'm out $2,200, which did help me on my taxes. That was a writing expense. They now notice that they have different tax levels for royalties and income from making stuff. So that helped me out too.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I have not seen a dime. Granted, I haven't been doing any publication because it was like, I haven't bought a copy of Audible. I haven't tried to advertise on Audible. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I just hadn't looked into that. But I'm not real happy with these folks. And apparently, they're very popular. They are associated with Drafted Digital because I was going to try to get an AI narrator and see how that would work.
Right.
And when they were still doing that, I was going to have them do the 20 hours to Charleston. And they said the BISAC code didn't fit. In other words, it wasn't a romance, it wasn't a mystery. And since I don't have a romance or a mystery, that's not very helpful for me. So I decided, and they wouldn't do short stories either. I tried that. But I went back and I thought, well, maybe they could do Fairy Cat Mother. And by that time, they had moved to Findaway Voices. So there are all kind of platforms out there. That was just the one I tried. I decided I've got the money. I'm going to give this a shot.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to have to, I guess I'm going to have to spend that much money on advertising if that's the only thing I can figure, because while I'm not unhappy with the quality of the book, the distribution sucks. I mean, they said they've got a whole list, I'm telling you, 20 people, and so far it showed up on 2. Now, granted, one of them's Audible. This is good.
Yeah.
And I think I actually searched Audible because I listen to Audible books to search to see if, it shows up, and it does.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm wondering if there were upload problems. Were there upload problems on what went to Audible?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, you don't want a book up there that's got
by the book.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty unhappy with the whole thing. And saying that, I mean, I listen to between 6 and 10 audiobooks a week when I'm not listening to podcasts. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. And it's like, if I'm doing that, then other people are doing it too. I would love for them to listen to Maven. I think Maven is funny, and me. But I'm real frustrated with it.
So they said upload problems. Was that something that you did wrong or something that they did wrong?
It was something on their end, from what they told me.
Oh, okay.
And they did. There can be upload problems.
Yeah, sure.
Back in the day, I used a program. Oh my God, I don't even remember the name of it now, but it's where you can make your own CDs. I published a CD for my brother. Helped Chris publish a CD. And they said, that they had it set up where, yes, and this was like, oh God, this was more than 10 years ago. So internet was a little slower and a little buggier back then.
Yeah.
We didn't have gigabyte, bit rate. We don't even talk about bit rate anymore, but they would say if this gets stalled, start it over. And, they had a process for going through that. Well, apparently Spotify which is podcasts and music and audiobooks that you can buy from Spotify, they didn't have a process for checking that, or if they did, they didn't tell me. If they had said, we've got problems with this, would you upload it again? No sweat. I would do that. I mean,
Yeah,
life
sure.
happens. Internet happens. Modems happen.
Yeah.
But along with everything else, it's been really frustrating. So I do have an audiobook. Y'all should go buy it. It's called Maven's Fairy Godmother. Let me know what you think.
Will do.
I will put a link in the description and people can check it out.
Yep.
Thank you.